everybody. I hope you had a great spring break. The purpose of this video is to review some writing terms that we've already learned, to go back over them, to maybe go a little bit more in depth with them. So in this video, we're going to go over 12 terms. I think I've taught you all of them this year. Pretty sure I have, but that doesn't mean you haven't forgotten some of them. So your first assignment for this week is to write down these definitions. You can type them on the document on Google Classroom, or you can write them by hand. And please make sure you're reading the instructions so that you know what you're supposed to do based on those options. And I'm making these videos because I'm trying to figure out the best way to teach you guys from a distance. So please leave me feedback either on YouTube or through an email or on Classroom, letting me know if there's anything else I could be doing, if there's something that works, if there's something you like, because the purpose of these videos is to teach you. And if you can't learn from them, then I'm wasting my time. So please, please, please let me know if they're working or if there's something else I could do. Hi everyone, this is our week 4 lesson, the right stuff vocabulary. In this lesson, I'm going to be going over 12 vocabulary terms to review writing, important terms, format, just things you need to know to make the process of writing the Purple Hibiscus essay smoother. So how I'm going to do this is I am basically talking over the PDF that I've shared with you. This PDF has all of the vocabulary and definitions. And so this video is basically just me talking over the PDF like I would in class if I was teaching you this lesson. All right, so to get started, we're going to talk about the purpose of writing. And so the purpose of writing, really any type of writing you do, what you're trying to do is to teach your audience. Now, what you're trying to teach your audience depends on the type of writing you're producing. So our class, 9th grade literature, has focused on 3 types of writing: narrative writing, informative writing, and argumentative writing. Our Purple Hibiscus essay is going to be informative, but we're going to quickly review just these other types because if you were to take the milestone, they would be on there. So just trying to make sure that you're still getting all the information you need to get. And you've already written those types of essays anyway. All right, so that is what I just said. Now, as I'm doing this video, if you need to write down a definition, just hit pause. The slides will always have a little slide and then a zoomed in slide. So you can pause on this zoomed in slide and write stuff down, whatever works for you. All right, so the vocabulary terms I'm going to go over. First, these 3 types of writing. The most important one for today is informative writing because that's what you're about to do. Then I'm going to talk about the introduction, the thesis statement. Then I'm going to talk about body paragraphs, and I'm going to review the teach method. Then I'm going to end with talking about the conclusion. Now, these specific terms have stars by them because I'm going to make separate videos on them. So this week, you can expect a video on introduction and thesis statements. Then you can expect a video on body paragraphs and a video on conclusion. So if you're still confused about these terms after this overview video, you'll get more in-depth videos later on. Okay, so we're going to talk quickly about the purpose of writing a narrative. Now, a narrative is something like Purple Hibiscus or the Purple Hibiscus test that you did. Narrative. All right, so narrative writing, the purpose of writing a narrative is to teach a lesson or theme through the plot, characters, and dialogue. So the example is Purple Hibiscus. So when the author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, wrote this book, she was trying to convey a message, and she conveyed that message through the plot or the events, the characters, and the dialogue. All right, so informative essay, that's the type of essay that you're going to write. Informative writing teaches the audience by informing or explaining a topic using evidence and analysis. All right, just a heads up, evidence and analysis are the E and A of the teach method, which I will review later on in the video. All right, and the last one we're just going to review quickly, argumentative. The purpose of writing an argumentative essay is to teach the audience a specific opinion or point of view on a topic through evidence and analysis. The difference is that argumentative writing also needs to include a counter argument.
This is like what we did last semester when we talked about what a hero is or should bystanders intervene. So we've already done argumentative writing, and we're probably not going to touch on that again this year, but this is just a review for your future knowledge. All right, like I said, we're focusing on informative writing. So for this Purple Hibiscus essay, you're going to write an informative essay about what a narrative, Purple Hibiscus, taught you. And remember, narratives teach through plot, characters, and dialogue, and they use that to reveal a theme. So you're going to be informing or explaining to me how Purple Hibiscus taught you a theme through the plot, the characters, and the dialogue. Now, we'll get more into that. We're going to spend 3 weeks working on this essay, but that's just kind of like how this all fits together. All right, so the format for an informative essay. So I'm going to talk about the types of paragraphs, where they go, and why you have to write them. All right, so the first paragraph of your essay is going to be the introduction. This is just an FYI. This cool little symbol is a symbol for paragraph. I found that a lot of students don't know that, so there you go. All right, so paragraph 1, the introduction, needs 3 sentences. And these 3 sentences are as follows. The first sentence should be a broad or general overview of the topic. So, for example, your essay is going to be on purple hibiscus, so you would just give a very broad statement about purple hibiscus, the author's name and what it's about, just very generally. Then your next sentence is going to be more specific. So since your essay is going to be about how a character changes, you could introduce your character and kind of tell us what they go through. And then the third sentence is your thesis statement. This is your original perspective on the topic. So this is where you would tell me specifically how your character changed and what that taught you. So here's a little diagram that might help you understand the function of a introduction. So think of an introduction as a triangle. The first sentence is very broad. It covers a lot of information. Then you get more specific, and then your thesis is the most specific. So you're focusing your point in your introduction. You're basically like, hey guys, I'm writing about purple hibiscus. And then you get more specific. What is purple hibiscus? And then specifically, what are you writing about? What character and how they change, and what did that teach you? All right, so you start really broad and you get more specific. Now, you can do this in just 3 sentences. That's it. Your introduction should not be longer than that for an essay of this length. You don't need to spend a ton of time. You don't need to give me a huge summary. I've read the book. 3 sentences, that's it. All right, now you might be thinking, oh my goodness, what is a thesis statement? Okay, so I'm going to be making a whole video about that. I'm going to have a Zoom on it, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know now for those of you who like it's a little fuzzy, you get a little confused. Okay. All right, so the definition of a thesis statement is a 1-sentence statement of the unique original perspective presented in your essay. So this is basically what your essay is going to be about, but it's your spin on the topic. So in other words, it's a 1-sentence answer to your essay question. So for purple hibiscus, the question is, pick a character and explain how they changed. So you would be saying whoever your character is and how they changed and what that reveals. Like I said, we will talk more specifically about your thesis statement for this essay. This is just an overview in general of what it means. So the thesis statement is the most important sentence of your essay for 2 reasons. Number 1, it tells your reader your main idea. So when I'm grading your essays, I'm your reader. That last sentence of your introduction needs to tell me what your essay is going to be about. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to be a little bit lost as I read. Now, you are in high school, so it shouldn't say, my essay is going to tell you. No, okay? It should just state your thesis statement as a fact. We will go over that in the next lesson, which I'll be posting Wednesday. So I'll get more into that, but that's just, you need to be more sophisticated in your writing. The other reason the thesis statement is so important is because it helps you structure your essay and focus your writing. If you've ever been writing an essay and you're like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what to do next, if you have a strong thesis, then that should give you a guide. You look back up at your thesis, okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. How am I going to make this point? All right, so it's super important, and you're going to be turning in yours on Friday. It doesn't have to be your final thesis statement, but I want you to have one so you can get feedback from me and your peers. If you're confused on a thesis statement, don't worry. Our next lesson is only going to be on thesis statement, and you will have a new video devoted to that. Also, if you join my Zoom on Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be writing some, and you guys can share yours with me, and I will give you feedback. All right, so paragraph 2 plus, okay, that's anyone from 2 to you get to the conclusion. Those are your body paragraphs. They need 5 sentences minimum, okay? Now, the purpose of these body paragraphs is to provide the evidence and analysis needed to support, defend, and prove your thesis statement. They should follow the teach structure, which I will review next. All right, so just to put this together, your introduction ends with your thesis statement, okay? It's the last sentence of your first paragraph. Then your second paragraph is supporting and building on your thesis. And every paragraph after that is taking a new approach to support, defend, prove your thesis statement. All right, so here is the teach method. The purpose of writing is to teach your audience, okay? Now, I say that because it's true, but also because it turns into a cool acronym to help you remember what you should be doing in your paragraphs. So, T, the first part is you need to have a transition word and a topic sentence. That's what T stands for. All right, so transition words connect ideas and help your writing flow. I will post a link to good transition words, but all you have to do is Google them to find them. They can be really basic, first, second, third. They can be sophisticated, however, therefore, whereas, all right? But you need to have transition words at the start of your paragraphs. And it's also a good idea if you switch ideas in your paragraph to have a transition. The next part of teach is a topic sentence. A topic sentence states the focus of the paragraph. So it's kind of like every paragraph has its own little mini thesis that focuses the point of that paragraph. I'm going to show you some examples to make this more clear. All right, so one example of good topic sentence is to begin. That's our transition. So your topic sentence should start with a transition. To begin, Cambili's family fell apart when Jaja stood up to Papa. So as a reader, this is telling me that this paragraph is going to explain to me Cambili's family, how it fell apart, and what Jaja had to do with it. This next one is another topic sentence that would be a different paragraph. Additionally, Cambili is silent at school. So that would tell me that this paragraph is going to tell me about her behavior at school. And the word additionally tells me that it's adding on to something. So I would assume that the previous paragraph had talked about her silence. All right. If this is not clicking for you, please join my Zoom. I actually think introductions will be next week. So please make sure early next week you join my Zoom and we're going to write introductions together. I'm sorry, we're not talking about introductions, body paragraphs. Body paragraphs next week if this isn't making sense. All right, so T was transitions and topic sentence. E is evidence. Evidence is the easiest part because you don't write it, you just find it. So evidence is the proof you need to support your topic sentence. It is usually a quote from a source. For this essay, it is a quote from Purple Hibiscus. I'm going to post the quote cheat sheet. I have to add to it. I'm going to teach you how to search the online text for quotes that you kind of remember. So all you have to do is find that from Purple Hibiscus. Now, a note on quotes. Something that confuses some of you guys is you think when I say a quote, you have to go in the book and find something that's in quotation marks, like something someone actually said. That's not true. It's called a quote because it's any line you're taking from a source and putting in quotation marks, okay? The term quote just means you're not writing it, you're taking it from somewhere and you're putting it in quotes to demonstrate that you did not write this, okay? All right, so T is transition and topic sentence, E is evidence, and A is analysis. Analysis is a fancy word for explaining something in your own words. So you have your topic sentence, your main point, you have your evidence that supports that point, and now you're going to explain that evidence to me. Okay. So tell me what it means. Tell me how it supports your topic sentence. How does it show whatever point you made? So, like if you had the topic sentence about Jaja standing up to Papa, how does your quote show that Jaja has stood up to Papa? Or you can make a connection. So you could talk about how, in this quote, Jaja does something, and then you could refer to another part in the book, make a connection. Previously, he did this, but now he's doing that. Okay. There's so many different ways to analyze. These are just some examples, but this is the most important part because it's your own words, and this is you showing me what you know and how you understand this. All right. Topic sentence in transition, evidence analysis, and then the last part is clinching. All right, so to clinch means to secure or tie something up, to basically like tie it all together, put it all together. Think of your clinching sentence as the last sentence of each paragraph should clinch your point. It's like a conclusion for your paragraph. So sometimes people are like, okay, I analyze it, moving on. Before you move on, just tell it to me again. And sometimes people are like, oh, this is repetitive. But think about TV shows that you watch. These things are repetitive because if you're trying to really make a point and get people to follow along, you have to repeat yourself. Most people don't get things the first time, so you have to be somewhat repetitive. All right, so you might be wondering, wait a second, teach, it only has 4 parts, so why do I need 5 sentences? Well, your analysis is the most important part because it reveals your knowledge. So it should be 2 plus sentences. All right. If you're stuck, if you don't know how to analyze in more detail, that's a great time to reach out to me. I can help you with that. But your analysis is where you should have more than 1 sentence. All right. So once you have your body paragraphs, and this essay has specific tasks in each body paragraph, which we'll talk about next week. But once you're done with your body paragraphs, you have to conclude. This is where a lot of students kind of freak out, freeze up. They're like, how many points do I lose if I just don't conclude? And they'll turn it in without a conclusion. Do not do that. That's crazy. That's like running a race and you can see the finish line and you just like sit down and you're like, I almost finished. No, finish. All right. So it needs 3 sentences, just like your intro. All right, so the conclusion is your final paragraph. It should have no new information. So there's no quotes, there's no groundbreaking anything. It's really just a summary. Once again, you might think that feels repetitive. Well, yeah, it is. Okay, so you're summarizing your main points, pulling it all together, and then giving me a final thought on your topic. Okay, so this is what your 3 sentences should do. Now, I don't expect you to fully understand this by me going over it right now. I will make a whole video on this later on. So, your first sentence, you're going to remix your thesis. This means you're going to say it, your same point of your thesis, but in different words. And I'll teach you how to do that in my conclusion video. The next part, you're going to summarize your main points. So you can go back, read over your clincher sentences, and put them together. So you can say, Cambili changed from blah to blah because, and then summarize what you said in your clinchers. And then finally, make a connection to life, to the world, to something, like try to make a bigger point. So your character changed, and like what can people learn from that? So Cambili changed from blue to green, showing people that even if you're born blue and you feel like you can never be green, all you have to do is make a little effort. Obviously, I'm just making this up. We'll talk about this more in the conclusion video. All right, so that is the end. Those are our 12 vocabulary words. I really hope that I went over them all. I planned this. I had a rough draft. I've gone over it a gazillion times, but no one is perfect. So let me see. Here's my list of 12. Narrative writing, yes. Informative, yes. Argumentative, yes. Intro, yes. Thesis. Okay, I think I went over all 12 terms. If you don't think I did, if you missed something, reach out to me. I will fix it. Just as a reminder, in case you didn't really look at what the actual assignment is clearly, You're writing down these 12 definitions. If you write it down by hand, you just take a picture, post it on Classroom, boom, you went over these definitions. If you type it in your document that I provided, then you just have to take a little quiz to show me that you thought about it. And that's it. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, any feedback. I hope this is helpful. And I hope to see you in my Zooms. And if you join a Zoom, think about showing your face or at least putting up a picture of you because Ms. Klein misses you and it would be wonderful to see your faces. Bye.
Can you say hi? Great job. What?
A pickle.
Yeah, there's Pickle.